everyone, so I've just finished watching Teresa's tag video and I thought I would just quickly film mine. So there she is and there's the questions, so I'll just get straight into it. So her first question is, do seasons affect your stitching pattern and how much you stitch? Well, let me show you the season. It is cold and windy and rainy here in country New South Wales, Australia. So it's a lovely time to stitch. I stitch all year round anyway. Doesn't really bother me. Doesn't bother me at all. Yeah, so I guess seasons really don't have too much of an effect on my stitching. I still stitch in the evening because I have a toddler and I have no life. No, that's not what it sounds like. It's just I have a toddler. So if you've got kids, you know what that means. You can probably hear him yelling in the background. Next question. Where are we? Do you prefer stitching on a lap stand, a floor stand, or in hand? Well, this is my... That's my noisy toddler. This is my American Dream lap stand, which I love and would never be without. I got this about last September, I think. I've always stitched with a scroll frame, and I never really thought anything else of it. And then, of course, I found Facebook and Flosstube and saw that there were other options out there. So I sort of looked around because I really love my scroll frames, and I found this and I find it works really well for me. What I love about it is that you can fit pretty much any scroll frame to this stand. So the one that's on here at the moment is not an American Dream brand. The scroll frame that's on here is actually a split rail frame. But I have attached the no basting system to this frame, so because I didn't want to use the split rail where you put your fabric in there and there's little nails in there and you put it together and your fabric's between that. I'm sure that would be all well and good, but I didn't want to do that. I really like the no basting system, and I'm slowly transferring all my scroll frames over to that. So yeah, this scroll frame actually just came from an op shop for like a couple of bucks. And it's a really nice wide one, which is why I grabbed it. And there's no way I'm holding that in my hand. It's just huge. Look, there's my hand. Oh, it's huge. I can't hold that in my hand. So yeah, I love this lap stand because I can attach these in. And as long as there is a hole just here, as long as there is a hole for that screw, any frame will go on this stand. Now this one already had a hole in it because most of them do. And I have a couple of scroll frames which don't already have the hole there, and I've just drilled it in and it works perfectly. So it's great. The only thing is, I think I do want to get a Millennium frame, except I don't really want a floor stand. I do like what everyone talks about with tension on Millennium frame because I love having a good tension. This one's not too bad, but some scroll frames aren't so tight, and you do have to keep adjusting these here and just tightening those. And I have a little screwdriver in my little kit I carry with me just to help me tighten those and keep them firm. But overall, I love my lap stand and I wouldn't be without it, and I don't plan on changing anytime soon because this works and all my multiple scroll frames fit on it, so it's great. So that's that. Next question is, do you prefer stitching on a hoop QSnap frame? Well, I prefer on a frame, as you can see. I do small projects in hoops. I don't own a QSnap. I might grab one next with my 123 stitch order and just try it out for small projects, but it is scroll frame all the way. Do you use a stitching light or no additional light? So I'll show you what, this is our family room. Not our family room, this is our front lounge room. I'll be back, 1 second. Okay, toddler crisis has been sorted out. Lighting, that's what we're talking about, lighting. Do I use a additional light? Yes, I do. So this is our front lounge room. This is our formal adult-only lounge room. No kids, well, he can come in here, but there's no toys or anything in here. So this is where I normally sit to stitch when I'm in this room, is right here. And this is my light. Now I got this light, it's a proper craft light, it's by Daylight, which is, it's like the Ott light, but I think it's the British brand. So Teresa, maybe that's the brand you want to look at if you're wanting to get one of these kind of lights. Now, I got this light because it was kind of their top of the line. I thought I'm just going to get a really good one. And it comes with these attachments, so that's actually the thing for on the floor, for turning it on with your floor, but I put it up there because I don't want to get down to the floor. So it has this this little craft box, which I don't use, but my husband uses it as a, puts his drink on it actually. Then it's got this big clip here for putting your pattern, but I like to put my pattern, attach it to my work with a needle minder, so I don't use that. It has a magnifier, which is great, but I don't use that either because, well, look, if I'm sitting there and stretch that over, like, I guess it would work. Actually, now I'm looking at it, I should try it. But like Teresa was saying, unless what you're working on is like right here, and you can't move a scroll frame on a lap stand around, like it's got to be, what you're working on has to be right here, well then it's pretty much useless. But it's there, and it does just lift out, you know, so but it's a bit awkward, and I haven't found I need it yet. So I have a magnifier, that answers that question, but I don't use it. Hello. He's here. He's going to chat. Sorry about that. Yeah, so this, I'll be back. This is going to be the choppiest video. Anyway, back to the light. So, yes, I really like this light because it just gives a all over coverage of light, if you know what I mean. It's not like a spotlight. It's not directional. It just... Hello, Alex. It just lights up the whole space, and it's a natural daylight lamp that's in, a bulb that's in there. So the light it gives and the colour accuracy is great. In the family room where I stitch on evenings when my husband's playing Xbox in this room, I have just one of those lights. My mum calls it a Jack and Jill light, you know, where you've got an overhead light and then you've got a spotlight, and I use that in the other room. And that works fine, except the light is a bit more orange, and it is directional, but that suits the purpose for in there. I got this light for in this room because it's our fancy room, and I wanted to get something which looked nice, and I can take those attachments off it and make it look a bit more streamlined. It's also on wheels, but it's quite heavy. Anyway, so it stays here. So that's how my lighting works anyway. He's going to be chatty. Next question. Do you use a magnifier? Well, I've already answered that. Do you stitch one-handed or two-handed? I do two-handed because I've got my scroll frame. It makes everything so much faster. It has to be two-handed. Do you prefer to stitch alone in a quiet room or with a family? I stitch in this room whenever my husband and I are watching TV together. When we're watching movies and things, then we stitch in this room together. And I stitch and he watches TV, and I watch TV while I stitch anyway. I've got good concentration. And then when he is playing Xbox, because he plays with a friend, like online, you know, so they're always laughing and carrying on. So it's not a very, and the light reflects on the TV. When it's dark, he likes to have the atmosphere of playing, you know, Xbox in the dark and shooting people, as you do. So when he's playing Xbox, I sit in the family room, you know, like the open plan family room with the kitchen and everything, and that's where I stitch and watch TV when my husband's not around. So what is your preferred fabric and preferred count? Well, this project here, I'll just show you this. This is my Charles Wilsocki Macintosh mill. That's where I'm up to. This is after 2 weeks of stitching. This is on 18 count Ada. I don't like 18 count Ada. It's too small. If I'm using Ada, I like 14 count. I like that for full coverage. I use 2 strands, and it probably doesn't give the coverage that it should. I mean, admittedly, now this is on 18 count, and the coverage is perfect. Those trees there are full crosses. The grass in front, you can see that's half cross on 18 count. So the building is full cross, and then you get some feet, you know, some of the ground and things like that are half cross. Gives it really good dimension. Same with the sky is half cross, which I've just started in that section there. And the hillside, but the trees are full cross. And that works really well on 18 count, I will admit. But it's very tight with the needle. Luckily, I love this pattern, so I'm quite happy to stitch on 18 count. When it comes to even weave and linen, I have only ever stitched on 28 and 25 count, so I don't have an opinion on 32 count, or definitely not 40 count. I haven't tried that. I'm sure I will try 32 count. But that's my preferred on those fabrics. In your time stitching, have you ever lost your stitchy bug? And how have you got it back? I don't think I ever really lost my stitchy bug. I just was young and cool and lived in Sydney and didn't stitch. And then I had a baby and I started stitching again, and I love it, and I don't think I'll ever stop. I'm completely obsessed with it. Sometimes I might be tired, you know, and I won't feel like stitching, but generally I just like stitching. And if I want to get back into the mood of it, I watch Flosstube, and I just get so inspired by everyone's work, and I just think, oh my god, I just have to stitch that. I just want to start stitching, you know, when you see someone's new start and you just see how they've got like 10 stitches on there, and you think, oh, blank canvas, it's fabulous, you know. And that's a good way to get your stitchy bug back too, is a new start. Don't pick up an old piece. Pick up a new piece, and that that will give you, he's playing with my light now. And then the last question is, do you travel and stitch? No, I don't travel and stitch because, well, I don't have to commute to work. We have our own business at home, so I don't have a commute. I live in a small country town, so I'm never really waiting long enough for anything to need to take stitching with me. I don't think I'd take stitching on holiday either, because I feel like I would be ignoring my husband and my child, and so and plus we don't really go on many holidays because we have a toddler, so I don't do that. So no, I'm an at-home stitcher in my comfort zone. I'll just show you, this is actually my as part of my Stitchy Spot, this is my sewing cabinet. So this has got all my stitchy stuff in it. I'm really lucky that I've got this. This is a mid-century piece. I don't know, it's probably like 60s. And it belonged to my husband's great uncle. And I love a bit of retro. You know, I'm into my Pyrex. Well, I'm into my retro stuff too. I'll show you. There's our cool vintage clock as well. So this cabinet holds all my stitching stuff. I've got whips and stash. I don't have a great big stash, so this houses everything very nicely, and it means I can go in and rummage around and not disturbing the baby by being down there. He's not a baby, he's 3. Because my stitchy stuff used to be kept in the hall cupboard, and at night I'd be in there, you know, trying to find this and that in the dark, useless. So now I've got this. So when I'm stitching in this room, well, everything's there. And when I'm going to stitch in the other part of the house, I have my little bag down here that I just keep my stuff in for the... It's a daddy one and a baby one. He's looking at the clips and things on the light. So this has got my current project in it. So there's my pattern and my little sewing kit. Pattern, yeah.
Oh, that's it.
And
This is like fun.
This sounds like fun. And my little kit with all my cottons in it, and my ot jar, and that just stays in there so I can take that wherever I want to go. So that's us. He's about to play with my cotton, so I'm going to go now. Alex, can you say bye-bye?
Bye.
See you later. Bye.